Party. I'm gonna need another can of Coke. Up and live. Let me know as soon as you got some.
Yep.
We good to go? Hello, everyone. Welcome to this week's show, live stream, whatever you want to call it. So, right, where?
Interesting.
What?
Live chat replay. Your chat messages are now saved and may be seen by viewers who watch the recording of the streaming.
Oh, right, cool. Right then, so no purchases this week. Not that I can remember, anyway.
No.
So I'll just show you what I've been working on. I've only really been working on the two things. So firstly, I've been working on this from ICM. It's a new kit out from ICM. Well, I say new. It's not, well, it's an old kit. I don't know, many of you might have seen my review, or some of you, or even none of you might have seen it. But let me just show you that. Basically, it's been retooled about a year ago, I think. But the original kit came out, I think it was 1960. So it's an old kit.
Camera is blurry. Can't see a thing.
Well, it's not on my screen.
Well, it is on mine and it is on Seymour's. Blurred as anything. That's better.
Right. So so I've lost my train of thought now. Yeah, so this is an old kit, but it has had a retool, and the sprues were all very good, very clean, no burrs and so on. Anyway, the review's up on my channel. So I've been working with this. Now then, it went together like a dream, apart from one problem. As we can see here, there's two small points where this front grille glues onto the main chassis. Now I glued it on, and for whatever reason, I don't know what, but the glue it just came away. So I re-glued it on again, and it just kept coming away all the time because the areas that it glues on are so small. There's not much purchase there, so you've got to be really careful with it. Having said that, it's turning out to be a stunning little kit. It's different. I like the different colors on it, the light lime green against the dark, and then you've got the bold sort of brass effect on the front, and it really is something. It's just different. It's a breath of fresh air. It helps bring your mojo up, and yeah, I'm just taking my time with it. I'm going to 2K certain areas of it, but I'm not going to 2K all of it. And that's what I've been working on this week. So I really haven't done much at all. I've been working on other projects, which I can't talk about at the moment, but they will get announced very soon. And we're really looking forward to that. A joint venture that's going to be going ahead, and I'm really excited to be getting that off the ground. And you know, just watch this space. Basically, something will be coming along. Now then, I've got nothing at all planned this week in the... Oh, yeah, I see it's gone blurred.
Try again later.
I don't understand why yeah, an error has occurred. Try again later. Right. Okay. So where's let me get the Xwing out. The screen might pulse a bit while there's nothing for it to focus on. Yeah, don't worry. Let me just... So I've got to start this week with a bit of an apology, and then you'll see why in a second. Yes, I know. I just said that it would be blurred until I got back with something to put underneath it. And it involves this Xwing, these instructions. We'll put that to one side. I don't need that at the moment. Oh, there's me. There's my kitchen roll. Hello. Right. Let me just pop that there. So as you recall, last week I said, that's a bit fallen off there. I said that I'd finish off the 4th engine, which I've done, and then we'd only be looking at a few little bits to finish this week, and then we'd be done. Right, so this is an admission of, this is going to make me look a little bit stupid, but there's no way around it. Right, so I said that in good faith, and then as I'm putting this together, I'm looking through the rest of the instructions, and I'm looking at the pieces, the bits we've got to do next to finish up. So we'd come to round about here, yeah. So we're looking at basically the stand, a few external sort of laser guns there, and then that was pretty much it. We would be on to the painting of the figures, and we got the landing gear to put in. Great. But then I sat looking at the model, and the first thing that occurred to me, I picked the box lid up, and I'm looking round the box lid, and I'm looking in particular at the LED lights. You can see where they go, and the thing that caught my eye was these LED lights here, and I thought to myself, I don't remember seeing them. I don't remember putting them on. And I don't remember the cockpit light being that bright. So with that in mind, I then look at the model. I put it on its base, and I press the button that's firing the torpedoes. And sure enough, I can't see no flashing red lights where the torpedoes are launched from. So I got my phone out. There's an app on there which translates Japanese, Chinese, French, Spanish, whatever language you want, into English, or the other way around.
Sometimes English.
And yeah, and so that I can read some of these other instructions, because obviously there's some bits in here that I can't understand because they're, but I just assumed that, you know, pretty much what they meant. You know, just looking at the pictures, I assumed what went where. Now then, as I'm looking back through this, it suddenly dawns on me that I haven't seen anywhere in the last few pages any covers or surrounds for this area here. And I couldn't figure that out at first, so I started going through. And unbeknown to me, somewhere along the lines between one of the weeks when I've finished I can't remember which week it was, but I bet if I went back and looked through the videos, I'd find out that I finished one show around about here on this, and then instead of starting the next show on this page, I've actually skipped 2 pages and gone on to here. See, I've gone, I thought 3 ended there. I thought that was the end, and I've gone on this here. So, long story short, I could have summed all this up by just saying, no, I'm sorry, but I've missed some pages out. But no, not me. I had to go in depth and, yeah, so basically, I've forgotten some pages. So we've got to go back and do them. But it was fortunate in the fact that the laser lights were in fact incorrectly placed, and there was even a small piece that should have gone in underneath at the beginning which hadn't been put in for some reason. So I stripped it all back, I put it all back properly, and now I have the correct firing and lighting procedure throughout. These are now very bright when they fire, and they're blanked off at the top, because another thing I'd forgotten was to put a black sticker on the bottom. You could see the bright LED through the plastic underneath when it fired, which we don't want. I'm just drinking a bit dry tonight. So I need to figure out, well, not figure out so much. So we're going to go back now and do this. So my apology is for the fact that it's not going to get finished this week. It's going to be a couple of weeks more. We'll crack on tonight. We'll get these covers on here, and then we can move on to the landing gear and so on. Let me just check. Yeah. So I just need to remember which. So this was where I got to. I'd done the cockpit. I'd done the weathering on the cockpit. That's on. That's on. And so we're starting at 3.5. We're definitely going to be weathering this in some way. And let me just see where that. There it is. That's where it goes. It's unusual for a piece to fall off on these. That is loose, actually. It's right, but yeah, that's loose. That's going to need to be glued. It's not broken. No, it's not broken, but it's definitely loose. Right. So the first time in all the Ban Dai kits I've had, I've never glued a piece yet. I don't think. So I'm just going to put let capillary reaction take over, and we're just going to touch there, and we'll let that sort itself out. Don't want to swamp it in glue. It only needs that tiny little right. So I want C1, 6 and 7. I don't know if everyone else has had a good week since last week.
Not many people chatting.
Sorry?
Not many people chatting.
Oh, right.
Bored.
It's quiet tonight then, is it? So we're just going to snip these off. Just it's best to always double check that you got the right parts. Check them against the drawing if you need to. Make sure you're snipping the right ones off. And if you're new to modeling, it's probably best if you cut away from the piece. So don't try and go flush up against the piece. Cut away from it necessarily, depending on how big your sprue gate is. And for those that don't know, the sprue gate is the tiny little bit of plastic which connects your piece or part to the sprue. Now some kits have large sprue gates. Other kits have tiny ones. So it's and then once you've come out and you've got your piece, you can then go around and using your clippers go flush and just cut the excess away. Now with this method, what you've got to be extremely careful of, and I have done this myself, so I speak from experience, is cutting areas that look like they're sprue gates and they need removing but are in fact part of the piece. If you're not sure, then don't cut. If you're not sure, check with the drawing as best you can, because the pieces will always show what you think might be a sprue gate or a piece of sprue. We can see, looking at this one here, I don't know if you can see that, but we've got these little tiny nubs there. Now that's the sort of thing that as a beginner you could accidentally leave on by mistake or cut off, sorry. So we just check here and you can see that it's there, and these two smaller ones are further along, so they're good to leave on. We just go around and just check in. Just getting the sander out, or a couple of sanders. So let's get a couple of sanders, and again we just want to make sure any excesses, any sharp bits are off, any burrs. For the more skilled builders that are in the group, I should say that the channel is aimed at people from beginners upwards, so sometimes I will go over the same things just as a courtesy to newer builders. For example, we've spoke about sprue gates before, but obviously there's new people coming in all the time, so it doesn't hurt just to revisit old territory once in a while. Just feel along there, that feels okay actually. One thing you should never do is and I've seen people do it, is twist the plastic. You get the I've not got a piece of it. You'll get people that will wiggle and sort of bend until they can sort of tear it off the sprue. Not a good idea. Puts the unnecessary stress on the plastic, and can warp it, amongst other things. Now then, so we are going to, these two are going to clip together. Looks like they're going to form the, just make sure I've got them on the right side. That looks about right. Close that up. Oh, we've got a tiny bit there that I've missed. And you can see this is the sort of thing that you've got to be careful to remove. Because when you come to other kits, there, see it on the top there. So when you come to other kits from Tamiya, Revel, Takom, Meng, any of these big kits, if you leave little nubs on like that, they all add up and they will cause fit problems much later in the build. If not, you know, straight away, because basically these kits are all designed and built to fit together perfectly. And if you get one piece that's a millimeter out of position, or 2 millimeters out of position, that will have a knock-on effect throughout the rest of the build, because you've got like a datum edge, which is your main start point, and then let's say you're, as an example, I'm trying to think of the best way of creating an example. Let's go to the white pad. So I'm just trying to think how best to explain this. So let's say you're building a wall. So you put your base in. I don't know, it's a very, very poor picture of a brick. It's totally out of scale. And then you start putting your other bricks on top. But each time you put one down, it's, I don't know, a couple of degrees off at one end. So you have a bigger gap. And then what happens as you build, it's going to gradually be out of position. I'm not very good at this. Not very good at explaining this. That's a crap. That's a crap way of trying to explain that. Forget the brick thing. It's rubbish. But you get the idea, I think. Oh dear, it's not going well. Right, so. And this is this can also happen with some glues. If you clamp them too hard, or you push them together too much, to the degree that melted glue, the melted plastic starts to balloon out of the join, you are in effect you're making the piece go further, connect further in than it should. So you know, then that will have a knock-on effect as well on the rest of the build, and you'll come to later sections and things won't quite fit right. You know, it'll be a struggle, and so just, you know, make sure that you get everything as near as possible. Sounds a bit disjointed tonight. Everything I'm trying to explain, I'm not doing a very good job actually tonight. Let's just pop that on there. That's where that's going to go. Right, so we'll try and keep the model orientated to the same it is in the pictures. It'll make things a lot easier. So we've got A4, F1 and A3. A4, A3. Another little tip just for people starting out, you can get a bit overwhelmed by the amount of sprues in a kit, especially some of the bigger kits. Each sprue is labelled up, like this is sprue A, and then you'll notice the next one it'll be sprue B, and so on. Now, sometimes, especially on the bigger kits, it can be, sometimes you just can't see the forest for the trees, as it were. You can't see the number you're looking for, or the alphanumeric thing you're looking for. So that can be a problem. So what you can do is, if you've got sticky notes or post-it notes, you can use them. You can write A, B, C on each one. I'm just trying to see if my, bear with me a sec. I've got, oh, where's it gone? I sometimes use a big piece of masking tape, and then just with the black marker pen, just write A, B, C, D, whatever is on there. And I also have some little black once again I'm foiled.
Let me guess. The fairies have disappeared with it again.
Yeah, it's every week.
The fairies are amazing in this house.
Every single week, something I need has vanished without fail. And it's annoying because these objects are on the table all week. Anyway, so they're little tiny post-it notes, but they're thin, they're long, and you can just wrap them around the section and then just write a big letter on, and then that can help you locate them much easier. Or you can color code them, you know, put red A, green B. As long as you stick with it on all your kits, you'll be fine. Another idea I came up with, if you've got the space, one of the old dish, you remember when most people might not remember washing up cutlery and stuff by hand. Everyone's got dishwashers nowadays.
Yeah, you've got one.
So I've lost my train of thought again.
You were talking about the dish.
Oh yeah, so if you use the draining racks that you put your dishes and that on, if you've got the space, one of those, and you just sit your sprue on each different one. It's another little, you know, just an idea I had.
Yeah, walking through a
A4, A3.
Walking through Weedon. It was a fair at Weedon, you come across that.
Was it?
The dish strainer. And the little one was sat next to me going, I think he needs this for his spoons. And I had to say to her, he doesn't really want the spoons.
Spoons?
Yeah, they come with a little box that you put the spoons in. It was a metal one.
Oh yeah, it was, yeah. I threw that bit out.
Yeah, but she come chasing us saying, he needs this for his spoons. And I had to say to her, it's not.
Yeah. All right, here we go.
Oh, Dr. Sprue says he thinks there are fairies in his rug that like to eat plastic parts.
Oh God, yeah.
Yeah. There are a lot of them.
At least they don't need to eat private parts.
Well, they seem happy with the plastic parts. I think you're feeding them in the front room.
Oh, I need to, let me just, I'm going to try and move this camera a minute because I just noticed there I was off camera again.
It just keeps going blurry.
Yeah, I know, it's just, right, no, what I need to do is just move forward a bit. Need to make sure that I remain in the center. It's, there we go. So A4, A4, A3, and now we need F1. I don't know whether F1, I don't think F1 is on, what am I talking about? F1's not on Sprue A, is it? Of course it's not. Oh, sometimes.
Oh, that would be A1.
Yeah.
Unless your letters are all jumbled up, then it could be F1.
D, D, B, it's got to be this one. No, that's E. It's going to be the very last one, isn't it? Yeah. Tiny little one in the bottom. F1. Numero uno. Make sure I cut that in the right spot. Right, that's just that one. That one there.
Save all wants to know, do you think PVA glue would make a good puddle?
I don't know on that one. I've used PVA on instrument panels. I don't know. I really don't know. I'm not. I'm only just starting my diorama journey, as it were. Dioramas is something.
It's his second attempt at a DIO nightmare. I suppose it would, but you'd have to give it more of a look.
Now I know
Look.
that
PVA glue is clear, isn't it? It's like I've got that horrible.
well, yeah, but it depends what sort of colour he wants. Surely there's somebody.
If you want a muddy puddle, you need like a brown.
Did he say muddy puddle?
Well, no, I just said puddle, but puddles aren't clear. You don't get a clear puddle.
You can. You've seen puddles where you can see the bottoms. Not unheard of. So it depends what he would. Surely there's somebody in the chat that does dioramas, because lots of people. There we go. Just pop that one on there. I will be covering diorama stuff as I learn it myself at a later time.
Dr. Sprue said, I asked the question, how's everybody's build going? Seymour said, his second attempt at a DIO nightmare. Dr. Sprue said, can't get anything finished lately myself, still fun though. Dave said slowly building this end.
Is that Mr. Mini Dreams, Dave, or?
Jeff Rice.
Oh no, hello, Dave. No, it's not Mr. Mini Dreams. That's
Griffia? That's a new one. Griffia? Sorry if I pronounced it wrong. You can't do deep puddles with PVA, middle won't set.
there you
Yeah,
go.
like sludge. Seymour said, what about microcrystal?
Oh yeah, that dries clear, but that would be an expensive way of doing it. I'll tell you what, AK do a range of products. Now let's just have a quick look and see. Right, what I'll do is I will go into AK products, and then I'll share my screen, and we will have a look.
Adam from Pop is Griffia.
So we want AK water. A bit model making, wasn't it? Here we go, water effects. So so this is the scale model shop. This is just one. So I've never done this before, so bear with me. Let's see if we can do this. So you should now see my screen. Is that, it will take a few minutes for it to come through. And so you want to be looking, and we can see here that they do, that we've got the wet mud base, accumulated dust, wet ground, stirred earth. Let me keep going. Somewhere is water gel effects. There we go. And that's £6.29 for one of those. Water gel transparent, a bit further along. And if we just click into have a look how much you get for your money.
It's blurred again.
What, you can't see my screen?
We can, but they're blurred.
No, what I'm saying is you can't see my, I'm sharing a page at the moment.
We can see the page, but the page is blurred.
Oh right, well I don't.
There you go. Just come into screen. Yep.
So what are you seeing at the moment?
100 ml water jelly.
Yeah.
AK interactive. AK.
Yeah.
8007, £6.29.
Yeah. So this is the sort of thing you want. There's not much. I don't think. Is there any description on it? But that's the sort of thing you want, and that's the sort of thing I'm going to buy to try on my dioramas when I do them on, and I'll be doing them on the show, so we'll all see how well it goes or not, as the case may be. So I hope that helps. Whoever asked that question, Seymour is. I hope that's helpful to you. By all accounts, that this stuff is very good, this AK interactive stuff, from what I'm hearing anyway. So I'm going to go back now to the build. What's that?
He said yes, thanks, Matt.
Right, so right. Now this is just going to clamp down on here. I've got to make sure that need to be careful because there's a couple of wires under here, and I don't want to damage them in any way. That seems to be okay. There we go. And then we come down to 3. There's one on there, okay. And then it's 3.6. And we've got a few going on here. So we've got E16, B1, F2. Let's get these bits together first. Have we got an F there at all? No. We have there though. We'll leave that out then because we're going to need that in a minute. D. We didn't got a D, have we? No, no D. E16. E16. F. F2. B1. Ah. F2 is already missing. So where did F2 go? So we've got the space there. That's because that's E. Oh dear Lord. I'm really not with it at all tonight. E, that's F. Get it together, man. What are you doing? E2, F2, E2. Talking gobbledygook. E16, it's going to go down on the top there, which is all well and good. And yeah, so that goes. And F2 is going back in here. Oh, this is one where we need to make sure we put it on the right way. Now, first of all, this one needs cleaning up. There's a little tiny burr on it there. I can feel it and I can see it. So we just quickly give that a quick brush over with the sander. Yep, that's gone. That's okay. And we're okay at the bottom. Now to make sure it goes on right. So this is one of those, careful look at the drawing. So we orientate it the way it looks, and we can see that that's the wrong way round as I have it at the moment. So it needs to go that way, and that's a much better likeness now. So that will fit on to that fits on E16 B1. So we need B1, which is quite a big piece. So that's easy to find. And then we've got our pilot, which we need to paint. I will probably do the pilot next week. I'll probably need some. Now I've got to be careful here because I don't want to cut the wrong pieces off again. A careful look. If you're not thinking properly, it's easy to come along and just take that down right flush with the plastic, which of course you don't want to do, because if you have a look, come back just a little bit further, and that's where your sprue gate is there, and that's where you want it to snip off, not excellent. Just be careful here again. There we go. No sharp edges there. Now then, position that correctly, and that correctly there, and that just, I believe that slides up onto there like that. And then this is just going to come down on here, like so, and that's just going to push down. Yeah, that's looking loads better now. Starting to look proper, like a proper Xwing. And then we want A26, A25, 26, 30 and 34. A25, 26, 30 and 34. Finding the right ones. That's D. I know A because it's the multicoloured one. Right, so I had a feeling these were going to be red actually. So what did I say? 20 was 24 and 26 one of them. Yeah, 25, 26. 25. There's quite a big sprue gate on this. Just make sure. That's that. And then we've got a 30 and 34. Right, so a 30 and 34. Yeah, that's going to be them there. Right. Right. Stop them there. I apologise tonight if I seem a bit sort of out of it. I've only just had my B12 injection today, and it's depleted quite a lot this time. For those that don't know, I have to have B12 injections because I had a gastric bypass, and as a result, my body doesn't produce vitamins and stuff like that. And one of the side effects is obviously the lack of B12, and B12 you need to stay awake, basically.
Dr. Sprue said it's funny to see. It's funny though to see white and red sprues on the tree along with clear ones.
Yeah, yeah. Normally the clear ones are bagged up separately, but I think there was even a different coloured one on here at one point. I think there might have been a grey one as well, but I snipped it off. You see the join there. I don't mind.
Dr. Sprue said take vitamins.
Yeah, yeah.
And I said, you do, I think.
Yeah, I've got to take loads of different supplements.
Are you still taking your multivitamins?
Yeah, I've got multivitamins. I have to take multivitamins and minerals, don't I? That's what I have.
Are you taking?
Yes. Right, so well, they do to a degree, but when my
a few days and you'll be wide awake.
Yeah, see, then we go to the other extreme, where I can't sleep.
Have 2 days to kick in, and then that's it. Enjoy the sleep while you get it.
Yeah, right. Not exactly. Do they stick out at the side? I thought they were supposed to be flush. Hold on, let me see if I've got. I don't think I'm putting these in right. So that's got to go at the back. Right, and that goes at the bottom. So that goes like that. There we go. I thought they went in flush. I couldn't figure out. And the same there, which leaves these two, and they've got to be the same. Oh, drop that out my hands.
Hello?
Who was it? Right, and pop them on. Apologies for the phone.
Hello?
Who is it? So we need C1 and C2. C1 and C2 DE. We get this nose cone finished off, and C1 and it's 9 and 13. C1 and C2 refers to the sprue. Do I have that?
Seymour said PVA all laid down, now the waiting game. Yeah.
Ah, so Seymour's doing a diorama, I take it.
Yeah.
Has he got pictures of it anywhere? Does Seymour have a channel? You have a channel that you can share with us? And C2, there's C2. Which means we can now get rid of this sprue. Remove that.
Oh, I just post on Facebook.
Facebook, right?
Facebook.
What? Any particular channel or?
Oh, probably on his channel. On his Facebook account.
So I don't know if you could send me a. Am I on your friends list, Seymour? So I like looking at other people's work. Just pop that on there, and that goes on there like so. And then we come along with F3.
He said, do you post on any particular group pages?
Do I? Well, this this show has its own Facebook page, and it is just called Sprue Surgeon. So it's all one word, capital S PRUE, capital S URGEON. I normally post everything on there. Did you say it's not coming up?
He just said if it turns out okay, he'll let you know.
All right, okay. Right, so this is going to go on there like that. Now I think we have an option for the canopy, although I'm not certain. So I think it's going to be a short one tonight. I'm very, very tired. I'm struggling a bit until my injection starts working. It's a bit of a battle. So I think I'm gonna call it a short one today, and we just leave that nose cone. We've finished the side, and we've done the nose cone. We've done the top section and the main piece around the cockpit, and also everything behind the cockpit with all the engine there. I could go on and do, there's just a little bit to do this back engine, but I'm really struggling to put my words together and everything, and there's constant phone ringing and everything. It's difficult to concentrate. So we're going to call it a night. Thanks again for tuning in. Sorry once again for the disjointed way everything's been tonight, and hopefully everything will be back on track next week. We've nearly finished with this build. Well, no, I say nearly finished. We've nearly finished with the build. We've got the landing gear to go on. I think one more good session, one more good build session, and we might have it done. And then that will be, yeah, we may have that done with one more good build session. And then it will be down to choices for weathering. I've been having a look at the films. I definitely think it needs some weathering to it. I'm not sure what or how much. We've got a whole load of decals that need to go on. So that will be probably another session in itself, decaling, and then we'll head on to the weathering. Right. So once again, thanks for watching, and I'll see you all next week when we'll carry on with this, and may have some more news. Who knows? Bye for now.